Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to dig into the key sources, pull out those crucial insights, and get you up to speed, fast. Today, we're tackling something really fundamental, leadership development. How do we really grow effective leaders? And there's this interesting shift happening, thinking about it from the inside out. Our guide here is a paper from Rice University researchers Ruth O. Reitmeier, Ryan P. Brown, and Aaron Pomerantz called Developing Leaders from the Inside Out. And it tackles this big question. Why do traditional leadership programs sometimes, well, miss the mark? The paper hints at this shift, from just doing things to actually becoming a leader. So let's unpack that. Business schools have been focused on developing leaders for ages, right? I mean, that's often why people go to figure out their own leadership style.
Absolutely. That's the stated goal. But the paper points out a key challenge. There are real constraints, institutional, financial, that often push these programs towards, well, what they call deficit-based skill training.
Deficit-based, meaning?
Meaning they focus on fixing perceived weaknesses or teaching specific skills, almost like a checklist. It's less about nurturing that internal leader identity.
Okay.
And while things like executive coaching can create that deeper identity change, it's really hard to scale up for everyone in, say, an MBA program.
Right. So just piling on more skills isn't the full picture. What's the alternative this paper digs into?
This is where it gets really interesting. They focus on the leader as coach idea.
Leader as coach.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a pretty radical departure from the old, command and control style. Think less telling, more asking.
How so?
It's all about open inquiry, genuine partnership with your team, making decisions together, empathetic support, really fostering employee development through dialogue, not just top-down reviews.
Okay, so that sounds different. It's not just learning a coaching skill, is it? The paper says it requires a fundamental change to the individual's self-concept. That sounds pretty deep.
It is deep. That's the inside-out part. If your whole identity is built on being the expert, the one with the answer.
Then asking questions and admitting you don't have all the answers could feel really uncomfortable.
Exactly. The paper notes that coaching-based leadership requires setting aside one's expertise and being curious and open. It demands real experiential learning, sometimes unlearning old habits, building new skills, expanding self-awareness. It's an inner transformation.
An internal rewiring almost.
Precisely. And that was the core question for the Rice study. Could they design a scalable program, this leader as coach training, and actually measure a change in MBA students' self-concepts as leaders? Could they foster that internal shift?
So how did they build this program? What went into designing something aimed at that kind of internal change?
They were very systematic, pulling from best practices. They built it around 5 key recommendations. First, work experiences.
Meaning real-world stuff.
Yes, connecting the learning directly to the participants' actual jobs and challenges, not just, hypothetical case studies. Second, crucial element, feedback and support.
Makes sense. You need a safe space to reflect.
Definitely. Productive reflection is key. Without support, people can just get frustrated. Third was modeling behavior. Seeing experienced coaches demonstrate these behaviors, not just talk about them.
Okay, so learn by seeing. What else?
Fourth, and this is core to the inside-out idea, self-reflection. They embedded specific reflective learning cycles, time to really think about successes and failures, to understand how their own self-perception was changing. This boosts efficacy, resilience, that sort of thing.
Right, processing the experience.
And finally, number 5, time. They recognize that real development isn't quick. It's not a fad diet, as they put it. It takes sustained effort.
So real work, feedback, seeing it done, reflection, and patience. It sounds comprehensive.
And within that structure, they focused on 3 things for that self-concept change. Reframing what leadership even is, practicing how to lead like a coach, and clarifying why connecting it to their personal values and motivations.
But mindsets, skills, and purpose.
Got it.
Okay, the big reveal then. They ran the study with MBA students, an intervention group doing the program, a control group not. What happened?
Right. 45 students, 12-week program, measurements before and after, and the results were pretty striking.
Yeah.
Okay, first, leader identity. How much they actually felt like a leader inside. The group that did the program showed a really significant increase. More confidence, more willingness to lead, better understanding of their strengths.
And a control group.
No change. Which suggests the program really did shift that internal sense of being a leader, maybe towards that leading from behind idea, being more curious.
Interesting. What else?
Second, developmental self-concept. This is about seeing your role as developing others and feeling confident and motivated to do it. Again, the intervention group grew significantly here.
What drove that growth?
It seemed to be mainly boosted developmental efficacy, their belief in their own ability to help others grow. They felt more capable as coaches.
Okay, so stronger leader identity, stronger belief in developing others.
Mhm.
What about their future vision?
That was the third one. Aspirational self-clarity. Basically, how clearly could they picture the leader they wanted to become? The program group got significantly clearer on this future self, this future-oriented schema. Control group didn't.
Wow. So it affected their present identity, their view of their role, and their future aspirations.
Yeah.
Quite an impact. Did they actually get better at coaching too, skill-wise?
Yes, that was important too. The participants in the program reported a big, significant jump in their self-assessed coaching skills.
Okay.
And what's really key here, this improvement wasn't linked to how many years they'd already worked or managed people.
Oh, that is interesting. So it's not just for people already high up the ladder.
Exactly. It suggests this approach can work well for people at various stages, regardless of their prior experience level.
So let's pull this together. What are the big takeaways here for someone listening, maybe someone managing a team or just thinking about their own leadership journey?
Well, the practical implications are pretty significant, I think. This kind of program doesn't just teach skills, it strengthens that core leader identity. It helps people challenge maybe unhelpful assumptions they have about leadership, like needing to have all the answers.
Right, breaking down those myths.
Yeah. And it trains them to actually prioritize developing their people and gives them the confidence that they can do it effectively through coaching.
And because it works regardless of prior experience.
It becomes a really scalable model. Think about using this in business schools and organizations to genuinely build leadership capacity and maybe even drive some culture change. It's broader than just one-on-one coaching.
And I was struck by that point about imposter syndrome, that this inside-out way might actually help prevent it.
That's a fascinating theoretical point they raise,
Mhm.
that by strengthening the internal self-view first, it might sort of inoculate people against that feeling of being a fraud, which often hits early on.
Which is the opposite of just focusing on skill gaps, which might actually make you feel more like an imposter if your internal view doesn't shift.
Yeah. Precisely. It's building from the inside, not just patching the outside.
So it really comes back to that core idea from the paper by Reitmeier, Brown, and Pomerantz. Developing leaders isn't just surface-level skills training. It's a deeper internal transformation. It's becoming a leader from the inside out.
And that leaves us with a thought, perhaps, for you listening. If real leadership grows from self-understanding and a focus on developing others, how could bringing more self-reflection and a coaching mindset into your interactions change how you influence people? Regardless of whether you have a formal title or not.
Something definitely worth pondering. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive today. We hope it sparks some new ideas. Until next time, keep exploring.